Hi, welcome to Beyond Data Solutions. And in this Microsoft Excel series, we are going to learn about Microsoft Excel in 5 weeks. So today is our first day, which is 17th of May 2024. So I'm Emmanuel Madanga from Beyond Data Solutions, where we offer data science and analysis training. We also do field research, and we also conduct monitoring and evaluation, artificial intelligence and machine learning, and that's what we do. And in this, we're going to learn Microsoft Excel in 5 weeks. And I'm going to be your trainer today. So we start by maybe having a background of what a data analysis is. So data analysis is the process of identifying, cleaning, transforming, and modeling data to discover meaningful and useful information from data, and so that we can make a critical decision based on the output that we get from the data. So we have some components of analysis. We have descriptive analysis, diagnostic analysis, predictive analysis, prescriptive analysis, and cognitive analysis. Let's check each of these. So descriptive analytics helps us to answer the question about what has happened based on the historical data that we have. And diagnostic analytics, it helps us answer the question about why event happened, why the event happened. And we have a diagnostic process where we start by identifying the anomalies that cannot be explained by the current understanding, and then now we drill into the data to look for previously unknown patterns, and then from there now we determine a causal relationship between the patterns that led to the anomaly. And we have predictive analytics where we can be able now to answer the question what will happen in the future by following the cycle here, by defining the problem, then doing the data collection analysis, carry out some statistics and do the modeling, then do the deployment. Prescriptive analytics is where we can be able to answer the question, how can we make it happen? How can we make it happen? How can we achieve the business growth? How can we grow out the revenue? Yeah. How can we reach our target? How can we reach our goal? How can we improve or make a difference in the livelihoods? And that is it. And then cognitive analytics is where now this will help us learn what might happen if circumstances change and determine how we may mitigate and we may come or we can handle the situation. That's the cognitive analytics, and that is it. So stay tuned as we explore more.
Descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive. Being able to understand this helps us to answer these questions as well. So this man also may want to do a lot with the business. So a business might determine that a certain product was popular over a specific time frame. For example, maybe if it is December holidays, maybe there is a peak season for particular products. So as a businessman or a retail man, you may want to know what actions you would like to take so that you can fully take potential of the data that you have. Just the data you have at your organization, you can be able to use it. So a data analyst is the person who can help you do that. And we have different roles in data, apart from data analyst. We have a business analyst, we have data analyst, we have data engineer, data scientist, database administrator. So up to that point, I'm just rushing through this so that we understand what data is. And from there, we go to Microsoft Excel itself. So a business analyst is likely similar to a data analyst, but in the business analysis, the key differentiator between the two roles is what they do with the data. So business analyst is closer to the business and is a specialist in interpreting the data that comes from visualization. So in this Microsoft Excel class, we are going to learn things to do with visualization of data. So a business analyst can use those insights, to be able to make decision out of data. The visualization we are going to use, things like charts, things like graphs in Microsoft Excel can help you to determine trend, and other things. So a data analyst is responsible for profiling, cleaning, transforming data. So their responsibility also includes designing and building scalable and effective data models, and enabling and implementation or implementing the advanced analytics capabilities into reports for analysis. So we have tools like for business analyst and data analyst can also take potential of business intelligence tools like Power BI and Tableau to be able to draw conclusions based on the data that they have in terms of visuals. So data engineer is more of advanced data platform technologies that are on premise or via the cloud to ensure that there is seamless integration of data between different tools. A data scientist is advanced for data analysis. A data scientist has a lot of advanced technology that can be used to develop robust models that can be able to perform particular tasks in data. Database administrator works closely with the database of an organization by ensuring that the data is structured in a good way, that is managing the overall security of data, granting and restricting user access, and giving privileges to the data as determined by business needs and requirements. So some of the tasks that you can do to prepare data, you have to, as a data analyst, you need to know how to prepare data. First of all, you start with collecting the data itself. You clean the data, that is what we call data wrangling or preparation of data. Then you do the analysis, you can do the models. Some things cannot need models, just do the analysis, visualize your data, you manage the data. So the top 5 popular tools for a data analyst or a business analyst, some are here. We have Python, R, SPSS, Microsoft Excel, Tableau, and then we have Stata, we have we have Power BI, we have Stata, and others also in the market. So here we are today because of data analysis with advanced Microsoft Excel. So we just want to learn Microsoft Excel, basics of Microsoft Excel that can enable us, and also up to the advanced level to be able to enable us to move or to see how we can take potential of data. So we'll start by looking at data entry, and then we'll go to data validation. These are some of the things we'll be combining them. And in 5 weeks' time, we'll be able to explore a lot of things that we can see on this page. So something that we'll not cover in this chapter is data analysis, the analysis of variance, which we call ANOVA. So it is not under the scope of this curriculum that we're going to cover in 5 weeks. So we are going to look at the regression modeling in Microsoft Excel, and we are also going to look at the hypothesis testing. We're going to look at hypothesis testing in Microsoft Excel as well. Okay, so having said that, we want to start using Microsoft Excel. I would like to get some reactions from the audience, if we are on the same page, or if you have a question before you go to Microsoft Excel itself.
I am okay.
Yes, Richard. Thank you. Yeah, you can mute. You can mute, please. Okay, thank you, Richard. So up to that point, I would like us to go to Microsoft Excel. So Microsoft Excel is a tool that was developed by Microsoft to be able to manage data. You can use Microsoft Excel to manage your data, your organization data, or your personal data by keeping records, and then take the potential of the data that you have by analyzing it to make decisions out of the data. So, how many of us here have Microsoft Excel with them already? Can you just raise your hand?
I have in my computer.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, thank you, everyone. So, just have your Microsoft Excel with you. So, we want to start by doing simple data entry in Microsoft Excel. And I want to share my screen for Microsoft Excel. So if you don't have Microsoft Excel, I would like to know if you have ever used Microsoft Excel. If you have ever used Microsoft Excel. This is what we call Microsoft Excel. This is what we call Microsoft Excel. You may not have it right now with you, maybe with your laptop or your phone you're dealing with, but this is what we call Microsoft Excel. And in Microsoft Excel, we can do a lot of things. Sometimes we can automate tasks in Microsoft Excel to save time. So for example, when I want to enter data here, maybe let's consider this one as I usually like using maybe common scenarios in the data field that all of us we can understand. For example, when you have student data, or let's talk about employees data. Yes. So maybe we have some things like employee ID that you want to record. So my sheet, I automated it that it can resize anytime I enter the name of the column. So the name of the column resizes based on the data that I have entered. So maybe employee ID. What are some of the things that we can store? Can I see in the chat section? What are some of the things that we can store about the employee? What are some of the things that we can store?
We can use the employee name.
The employee name, employee email, employee department. Nice. In the chat section, I see.
Employee age.
Employee age. Okay. Employee salary. Nice, nice. Okay, thank you. So you want just to go step by step. So employee ID, let's say we have employee gender. We forgot gender of the employee. And then we can have, sorry, this is not gender. Let me see. Yeah. So to automate your sheets to run like this, my sheets, they are automated. So how to automate that? You right click on your sheet, then you go to view code. You go to view code here, and you'll be led to the VBA for Microsoft Excel. Here is where now you can be able to change. This is what I just added. Cell, when you go there, you will see an option for general. It will open here at general, and then you can just change it to worksheet. So once you change it to worksheet, you put this code. So I can just paste it in the chat section so that we can be able to do that. And once you put that, you can just close this and close your VBA. Once you put that code there in between that information. So let me just paste that code in the chat section so that we can, if you want to use it, yeah, date of joining the organization. Yeah, so that is the code I have shared. If you want to automate your sheets to your columns to change based on the data that is in the column, the way mines are changing. For example, when I have okay, you have salary, so it will be able to adjust based on the size of the name that I have, like that, salary. And we said email address. So this is how we enter data manually in Excel by just typing. You see address, it has adjusted based on the data that I have in the column. And then what else did we say? The department of the employee. So sometimes you usually have pattern of writing these things for you to save time. Some things you may decide to put them at the first. Maybe you can have the employee ID, maybe the gender, you can have the email address, the department, then salary comes at the end. Then the date of joining the organization. So maybe you can say date of joining the organization. Is there something else I left? Let me just check the chat section. Salary, department, Email, okay, nice. Okay. So we can just use that one as a demo, as an example. So once I have this and I want to insert employee ID, employee ID. So employee ID, maybe for example, I have my employee number, maybe usually starts from 101, 101. So 101. So that's what maybe I want to use as my employee ID. So that's how I enter my first entry as my employee ID. So gender is male, female, or maybe prefer not to say. Yeah. So when I have this in data entry, we have different types of data. So we have categorical data, we have continuous data. Okay, we have categorical data and we have numerical data. So numerical data can be discrete or continuous. Categorical data also has other things that comes with when you deal with data, maybe in SPSS or maybe in R or Stata. You may want to categorize your data as either ordinal, nominal, and other measures of scale. We call them measures of scale. So here under gender, I have categorical data. So we are going to use data validation to prepare a drop-down in Microsoft Excel. The first thing we learn here today is a drop-down. To when you understand, if you have a categorical data that you understand the values that you are likely to use, you make use of drop-downs to save time on entry. So you go to data tab. Those who are following, you can go to your data tab, and from the data tab, you go to data tools, data tab, data tools, and then under data tools, you'll see an icon. You should see, I am using Microsoft Excel 2019. There is also Microsoft Excel 2021. There is Microsoft Excel 2016 and later versions. But you should look for this icon. If you cannot be able to see this icon, just look where there is data tools and look for this icon. And other Microsoft already have the name data validation. You can just look for data validation just under the data tools. You'll be able to see data validation. So you click on the drop down. You click on the drop down, this drop down button here, and then you click on data validation. You click here like data validation. Think we are together. We said you go to where you want, ensure that your cell that is active is just a cell immediately down below gender. And then now go to data tab, then go to data tools, then go to data validation. So when you are here, you change validation criteria here, allow from any value, change it to list. So when you change it to list, then you want to present your data. For example, gender is male, female. So male, separate, female, and maybe prefer not to say. So I have created my 3 categories. That is the first approach that we are using. So I think I will go step by step so that we don't leave anyone behind. So we are doing data entry in Excel. There is manual typing. You can type, but now there are also prone errors to typing data manually, human errors like the typos, and also you can save time when you use drop downs in Microsoft Excel. So once you separate your entries, you can now proceed and click OK, or sometimes you can give input message. So input message here, you can be able to tell which message will be shown when someone hovers a particular cell that you want to set this data validation list. So for example, input values. For example, I give my title as input values. Then my input message, I say, please select from the drop down. list. Please select from the drop-down list. So suppose someone fails to select from the drop-down. That is where now what we call error alert comes. Error alert. What error should be shown when someone fails to choose from the drop-down you have provided? And this is very important, especially when you are dealing with things to do with salary. Salary, you can also restrict particular values that should be entered in the salary cell.
Hello, sir.
Oh, yes.
Excuse me. Whatever
Yes.
you're sharing, we can't see.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry about that. So
From the
I'll
beginning,
just
we haven't seen anything.
okay. Okay. Let me share my entire screen. I think I'm sharing a window which is not showing extra windows that are coming up. Okay, let me just do that. Sorry, and thank you for that. Let me just share my entire screen. A minute. I stop sharing and stop presenting. And I share my entire screen, and I think from there I'll be able to, yeah, okay. Can you see it now, please? Can you see
Yes.
an extra dialog box, a dialog box on top of Microsoft Excel?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
okay. So let me start afresh. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I had shared a window instead of the entire screen. So let me close it and start afresh. So we are under gender. So thank you for that, Alam. Thank you for that notification. I appreciate so much. So we said you go under gender, then you go to the data tab. Under data tab, you go to data validation here. I will close again and go there. So you go to the data tab. So ensure your cell that is active is below gender. And then you go to data validation under data tools, data validation. Then under the drop down, you select the data validation here. And now you can be able to see what I was saying here. You start by any value, change it to list. Any value, change it to list. And then the source, you can give male, female, and prefer not to say. Yes. In case I'm going too fast, please, you let me know. And we can, all of us, be at the same page. Okay. Then we go to the input message. Is there anyone who is left behind? Because I'm sharing my screen, I cannot see messages. Okay. Hope we are together, because when I start coming here, I will have multiple screens on my sharing. So that's why I just want to be alert. So the title, we said you input, maybe we say input values, input values. The message, we said, please select from the drop down. So we said, this is how we create drop downs in Microsoft Excel that help us to carry out data validation. So input title, you say input values, and then input message, please select from the drop down list. Then you go to the error alert. What error should be shown when someone fails to do that? So you may choose maybe information, maybe warning, maybe stop, depending on the sensitivity of the information. So the error alert, you can say wrong input. These things you can put anything that you think is appropriate. You don't have to put what I'm using. You can put anything that you think is okay. Then you go to the error message. Error message is, please check the input message. Please check the input message and try again. Message and try again. Sometimes if you don't specify these things, Microsoft Excel itself will be able to give you these warnings, but now in not a way that you will understand. So maybe you click OK, and you see my input value here. There is an information here for the input value. Please select from the drop-down list. So I click on my drop-down list, and now I can select which gender I want. You see, colleagues, where we are we all there? Anyone who is left behind? So you can select, maybe the first one is male, you can just select like that. Maybe it's female, you can select like that. You can change. Maybe is we can still expand our gender to see maybe all information. So anyone who is left behind? Okay. So I just want to delete this and apply it to the rest of the cells. To apply it to the rest of the cells going down, you raise your cursor on the bottom corner of your right Microsoft Excel. You will see a plus symbol. So when you drag like this, it will be able to apply to the other cells down below, while hinting enter like that. So when you come here, you can also see that that command has been applied to this, but not here, where I have not applied. It is not here, it is not here, it is not here, it's not here, it's not here, it's not here, it's up to here, where I stopped. So that's how we do that. And that one was for gender. So salary is a numeric data. You cannot use drop downs to write salary. What you can do with salary is to specify the range, that the salary values must range between, maybe for example, if it is the lowest is 10,000 to maybe 500,000, you can be able to specify that so that you validate your data that you are entering. So let's say here for this case is male, and now we go to salary. So salary, you also go to you make this cell active for salary. Seems to have a question with someone raising hand.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
I'm asking, you can reshare for me that the file you shared. You was logged out. I've lost it.
Okay, okay. The code, the VBA code.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We are not having a data set yet. For those asking for the data set, we are not up to the data set yet. When we reach to the data set, I'll be able to share here the link for you to be able to download the data set. But what we have is the code for we have is for the setting the columns. So let me just check it and reshare it back. So it is just within the charts. Yeah, and has been shared with one of my colleagues. So you can just check the VBA code that has been shared or a chat section, which starts with cells.entire_column.autofit. So we said, how do you apply that in Microsoft Excel? Let me stop multiple. Yeah, we said that you right click here, your sheet, you right click your sheet, then you go to rename. And sorry, you go to view code. So you click view code, and now you see here it will be blank. So that code, you paste that code here. Once you paste that code here in this, you will see general. So change general to worksheet, and then paste that code here, and then close, and then close also. This is the VBA part. So that when you enter any value here, can auto fit. For example, here, my prefer not to say will not fit until it will adjust based on the values that are in the cell. So when I click outside that, it is adjust automatically. The column adjusts itself automatically. So that's what we are looking into. We have learned that, and we have also learned the drop down. So we are going to learn how to restrict salary. So salary, we are also going to use the same approach, but in a different way. So we still go to data. We go to data validation. You click data validation here. Under settings, allow any value, you change that to whole number. You change that to whole number. When you change that to whole number, data between, so you can look at what is between, not between, equal to, not equal to. You can change things based on what you fits your need. So for us, we are using between, and we said that our minimum salary is 10,000, and our maximum salary for our organization, maybe in this case, is maybe 500,000. And then from there, you can still also provide the input message the way we did for the first one, because salary is very sensitive. So it's good to give input value message. And you give, for example, in this case, we want to say salary must range. So even you yourself, you may enter data and maybe you enter extra 0 on 10,000. It's now 100,000, and then you make that blunder to the entire organization. So salary must be between 10K, maybe I just say 10K to 100K. Yes. Then the error is stop, because salary is very sensitive. I can use stop. And title here, I can say error value or wrong value input, wrong value. You can say anything. No employee with such salary as my error message, such salary. Then you click OK. Then you click OK. So we said you start with settings, you select from allow is whole number, and then between 10,000 to 500,000. Input message, input value message, salary must be between 10K to 500K. We said it's 500K. And then the error alert is stop, wrong value input. So these are the messages you will see when you put wrong entry. And then you click OK. So you see, we have there our input value message under salary. And now we want to apply this to the rest of the cells going down. So we can just drag down up to here. And there we go. So you can just hit enter, maybe up to that point, and you click outside. So that one has already been applied, and any cell that we have not dragged up to that point, it will not be applied. So those are very sensitive information that you can have. So for department, it will just be the same as the gender, because department, an organization knows all the departments that exist. So for example, we put a wrong entry for female here. For gender, let's see what will happen. So for gender, maybe a type female. You see? So when I type female, that is not consistent. This one, data validation is important because it ensures consistency of data during the entry of your data. In this case, I am using female with small f instead of capital F. So it's telling me the wrong alert is now here. Wrong input. Please check the input message and try again. The error message we gave is now here. And the input values, now we check the input message. We check the input message here that please select from the drop-down list. So at least now we understand. So we click OK. And now we go there. We now change this to, at least we were warned. So if we agreed with that, so you see now it is now accepting. But in case we do anything wrong, it will be able to warn us. So let's try salary. Maybe we put 100 instead of, let's put 1,000 instead of 10,000. When we hit enter, we are also being warned, no employee with such salary. So we are trying to just validate the data that we enter. And this is very, very important when handling organization data, because this one can lead for for the termination of your contract, because you are joking with the organization data. So you can say retry, and now it enables you to retry. It activates. But now let's see. We just refuse. It's still saying no employee with such salary. Okay, retry. So we try again. So we add an extra 0 to make it 10,000. And now there we go. It's now accepting. So email addresses, you just have to input them, the normal entry, maybe Emmanuel at example.com, yeah, and there we go. You see, email resizes, the column for email resizes automatically based on the size of the longest data that is in the column. So the department, we do the same the way we did for the gender. We go to ensure your cell that is active is just immediately down below the department. And then now you go to data, and now you go to data validation. And under data validation, you can now start from settings. You change to list. After changing to list, you provide the names of the department. Sometimes, let me show you another way of providing this. You may fail to type here all the information about the departments. So I want to show you another way of doing that. So you type here all the names of your department. So for example, I can just have here my departments. So maybe I have here programs department. I have here finance department. I have accounting. Maybe accounting and finance is just the same thing. Let me use communication. Communication department. Electronics, maybe technology department. I can have more than one word. Technology and innovation, something like that. So, and now I have all the list of the departments that I have in my organization, and I want that drop down here. So I will do the same. I'll go to data, I'll go to data validation, and then I'll go to data validation, and then here I'll select lists. But now this time around, instead of typing here the source, I will pick the source by clicking on this upload icon. You click on the upload icon, it's now active, ready to collect the data that you want. So you select the names of the department and not the title. You exclude the title. So just like that, the way I highlighted, you just highlight like that. And then you click this download button to go back. So you click on the download button to go back. So that range has been taken. Once that range is taken, you can now click OK, or you can even give the input message and the error message the way we did at the first time. And then you click OK. So we have now drop downs here with us. So you can select if it is finance, or if this person is from communication, or if this person is from technology and innovation. When you click outside technology and innovation, the column will be able to expand automatically, like that. And now you can give the date for this employee. Maybe the date. Let's format this column as a date. So you select the whole column. We go to home, and under general we change to short text. Let's use short text. Short date, and we can now provide, maybe it is today is 17th. Let me just type it like this, May 2024, or date today's date. So for us to call here today's date, we use a function in Microsoft Excel known as today. Today, like that. Today, we hit enter. So today's date is 17th of May 2024. So this date will always change. So I don't recommend you using it here because it will always change. If you come here tomorrow to this sheet, it will be reading 18th. So you just have to type the date and not use today's function in Excel. So you just type the date. Let me just use, so it seems the arrangement is you start with the month, you change to the day, and you can now put the year. You can still change the arrangement by following the customization of your date. So that's how we make our first entry in Excel using normal entry. Using normal entry. I want to hear some questions from members, and we can proceed. So because when I go to the meeting site, I will have a lot of screens. So maybe I'll just stop share, and then I get some questions if there are, and then we proceed. Any question? Any question? Oh, yes, yes. Kindly repeat on the employee ID. Anyone who has, there's someone who has raised a hand. Joshua, are you ready to talk? Or Joshua? Then Hannah, you can talk. Okay. Yes, just us. Kindly repeat on date. Okay.
I was asking if you will send the link for the recording.
Okay, the link for the recording. Okay, I'll be able to send.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, okay. Yes. So if there is no question, we proceed with the next approach of data entry, which is using form. So there is something in Microsoft Excel we call form, just like form that we know form. So in Excel, we also have form. So let me go there to our Excel I'll start by sharing the screen again. So I'll share the entire screen. Yes, so here we are. Now we want to use form. So form has advantages and disadvantages. So while using the form, you cannot use the drop downs. So form does not require us to use drop downs. So under employee ID, we said you just type the employee ID. And if you have many employee IDs, maybe there's a particular number that follows, you can be able to, sorry about that. Let me just use series, fill it as a series. And just delete this. So home, drop field data, series, start value 1, stop value. This is employee 106. The last one is 106. Step value is 1, and the stop is 106 here. So you click OK. So it is by columns. You check this is columns, and then you click OK, and you will have that. So if you have 10,000 sheets to populate a particular number like this, a unique number like this, you just use the approach I have used. Just go where you want to start, for example, here, and now go to home, and you go to field down. This field drop down, you click on the field drop down, and then you go to series, and under series, now you must be able to highlight the starting value for your case. For our case, it was 106. So let's go here, and we want to fill maybe up to, yeah, let's see. Let's go to home and go to the drop down for the field, go to the series. So 106. So we step by 1, and maybe want to stop at 110. 110. We click OK. We have just not highlighted our places that we want to do that. So you go to home and go to the drop down and go to the series, and here you select the stopping value is 110, and you click OK, and it will be able to increment that. So you must provide the starting point and select the region that you want that data to be populated, and then you'll be able to populate that. So here we set here some lists, so you can be able to select from the drop downs, male, female, male, female. So it saves times during the entry. And here salary, we said you can give values that are within the range. Our range is already here, so we know. And if we tend to put values that are not in the range, we will get errors. We will get errors like this one, no employee with such salary. So you can retry and change the value by adding an extra 0 on it, and it will be good to go. And on emails, you just have to populate the emails. And there is another way of also writing emails for the employees based on their name. So for example, you have here first name. So you right click here to insert a column to the left. Like that, you insert here a column, you can give your first name. And now maybe we want to create emails based on the first name. So let's start by doing that as well, because we are learning a lot of things at the same time, which is okay. So we have first name here for the employee. So let me just also add a last name, because these are common things that we meet out there. So last name, and I want to create employee email address based on the first name. So maybe this is Emmanuel. Who is Emmanuel? Yeah, Emmanuel, like that. And the next one is maybe Jack. Oh, this is female. Let me change this to male, and then also change this to male, and then the female one, we'll change this one to female. So maybe you can have case study for female, and female is Joyce, maybe Joyce. Yeah. And now I want to get email addresses based on the first name. How do I do that? So I know our domain name for our company is example.com. So how do I reference to it? So I say equal to, I want to create emails based on the first name. So I say equal to, I say concat. There is a function in Microsoft Excel known as concat that we can use to reference, to combine, we can use to combine texts in a Microsoft Excel. So concat, we reference to Jack. So we reference to Jack. Once we reference to Jack, we want to add the domain. So the domain name is at example.com, like that. And then I close. So we are putting the string in the double quotes because it is a string. We must put it in the double quotes, or else it will give us an error. So this is one way of doing it. So I'll hit enter, and you see here I have Jack as my email for that particular case. So I can just drag down to also get Joyce without writing the function again. Are we together up to that point? Are we together? Okay, sawa. So we said you start by creating the first column, and you insert a column in Microsoft Excel. Let me insert here an extra column for full name. So right click, insert. When you insert in Microsoft Excel a new column, it will insert it to the left, automatically to the left. So you ensure that where you are inserting, you insert it ahead of the where you want to insert. And then you come here and type full name. So this is how we insert a column in Microsoft Excel. We provide a name, and our cells will adjust based on the name. I think I have a question. I think I'm seeing someone's maybe raising a hand. Let me just check. Yes. Anyone having a question? You can talk. Because when I come back to the screen, I have multiple screens, and I don't want to see multiple screens.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I wanted to ask.
Yes.
Okay, a question. If I want
Yes.
to, if I want to use the first name plus the last name and then numbers, how can I do that?
And then numbers.
Yeah, first name, last name, and then numbers.
Which numbers?
Plus Just like my name is Muhammad Aaron Omar. I want to use Muhammad Omar
Oh,
one
okay,
two
okay,
three
okay,
at
okay,
example.
okay. Okay, yeah. So most of the organizations usually use a formal way of writing emails. So this is the formal way. So the informal way of adding numbers to this is just to come here. Let me just use another example so that we can all see how we are doing it. So we insert here another name of one of us. Agnes just helped us. So let's call her. She helped us by sharing a VBA code that we had posted before others joined in the chat section. So we have Agnes here and we want to create an email for Agnes. And then we want to add the 1, 2, 3 our colleague is saying. So another way, you can use the concat. The concat, we said that you use concat to join the text, or you can use, you reference to Agnes and you use the and expression. You give the numbers you want, maybe 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 to extend the email, and then you provide another and now you provide your example at example.com. Sorry, let me just see. You don't even have to provide this. Let me just remove all this, the quotes. So this one, the function isn't valid. So let's just use the normal function, because we are using, you can use concatenate or concat. So let's just use the normal function first so that we don't combine a lot of concepts at the same time. And this is how we are doing it. So I want to remove these ands because you don't want us to get confused. Just want us to use the normal example we used. So this is how we do it using the concat function in Excel. So you write concat, you reference to Agnes, and then comma, separate with a comma, and then put the double quotes for the numbers you want to add to the email, and then put a comma, and then double quotes the domain of your organization. So by that, it will be able to combine all these things to be one. So you'll have Agnes 123 at example.com. Hope we are together up to there. So you just use concat function.
Yes, we are together,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I'm asking the part of for the series that when you are doing the numbers.
Oh, the series part. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Or you want to use the numbers, these numbers, or you just want to generate them the way we generated?
Yes, how you generated the initial point.
Okay.
I missed the initial point. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, I get you. Yeah. So that's how we write emails in Microsoft Excel. And it saves time. If you have 10,000 employees, you cannot go by typing at first name, you type Emmanuel, you type at example, like that. So you can just drag all this down based on how many employees you have. So you said when you want to generate a series, you select the starting point, which is 104. Highlight a number of cells. Highlight a number of cells. Once you highlight a number of cells, go to home, then go to fill down. This one, fill, then you'll see you click on the drop down. Under drop down, don't click fill down. When you click fill down, it will fill 104 throughout. So you go with series. You click series. When you click series, it will be able to, you see series in, you start with columns. Type is linear. And now you come here, step value 1. Step value is how should it, the criteria to use to skip from one, to move from one step to another. So by one. If you put 2, it will jump from 104 to 106, 108, like that. Stop value, you provide the last value you want. Maybe it's 110. And then you click OK. Are we together up to that point? So then there you click OK. So when you click OK, it will generate up to the stop point value. Are we together?
Thank you very much.
Okay. Now we go to forms. We had said we want to learn how to enter data using forms. I will not be able to fill out through this because our time is not enough to fill throughout this. So you can continue from there. And we said if you want to reference something to today's date, you use the today's function. But now we cannot, and the today's function, it will always adjust every day. So you cannot use it to reference to the day employee was enrolled in your organization. So just use it in other scenarios, but not today's date. Okay. So we proceed to, and if you want to know the month that this employee was employed, we are learning a lot of things at the same time. So it's just good to learn. So you just click on the month, and the serial number is this. And the month, we can know it's the 5th month. This is the number of the month. The number of the month is the 5th month, which is May. What if we need the name for May? We are using here months function. What if we need to know the name of the May? We need May. So we say equal to. We are learning a lot of things at the same time. Please, when you get lost, you tell us, we repeat. So text, we reference to the date, comma, into the double quotes, MMM 4 times. So you should be able to return the month. Or you can use the M 2 times. You see now, right now, we have May. We have May, the full name May. Please, this is how it works. If you have any inquiry, please let's know before we go to the forms. We are learning a lot of things at the same time, which is also important because some of the things are we meet them in day to day. So as we go by, we also introduce new concepts. So we have learned on how to create emails, how to create drop downs, how to enter data manually. So we want to learn how to create a full name from the first name and last name before we go to the form, because every time we maybe Emmanuel Madanga here and we want full name. So how do we do that in Microsoft Excel? We say equal to, we use the concept we used in emails. So we use concat. And I have just remembered that my first name is starting in small letters and my last name is starting in capital letters. So how can I ensure that there is consistency? So here, for my case, I'll be able to join the two functions. But because we are starting today, I don't understand if maybe we have the background, so it will allow me to create another column that I can reference to. But now we don't recommend having a lot of columns, yet you can combine functions in Excel. So for example, let me just do this, and then if there will be any question, we will be able to ask. So concat, we are referencing to the first name, but the first name contains small letters, but we want it to be like the last name, which is Madanga. So how can it be like that? So we say concat, we open the brackets, we use proper function in Excel, proper, to structure this to be Emmanuel with capital E. The first letter will be capitalized. We are also learning consistency in that. So this inner function will be able to change this to Emmanuel with capital E. The outer function is ready to join the first name and the last name. And we need space between the last name, the first name and the last name. How do we provide space? You use the double quotes with space inside. You can give the space you want, but for me, let me minimize to that. And you separate with comma. This is, we are using the concat we learned and a new function which we call proper to arrange the first letter to be in capital letters. And then we provided the last name, which is Madang. Then we close. When we hit enter, it will be able to give us the full name. based on the first name and the last name. And we can just drag down to apply everything. I will copy this to paste it in the chat section so that you can also maybe use it based on what you have. So I just hit enter here to see my name. So you see there, I have full name. So when I drag this down, before I fill in some information here, let's see what will happen. We drag down up to that point. You see there is no second name here, there is no second name. It is just reading the first name. So the second name here, if we provide it, it will be able to read the other side. So let me say maybe this is Jack Kamau. When I hit enter, it adjusts the other side automatically by the power of Microsoft Excel functions. So let me copy one of the functions here and paste in the chat section, just in case you want to use and get some questions before we proceed. Emails do not use drop-down lists. Emails do not use drop-down lists. Yeah, so I have just shared, if you make a mistake like that in Excel and you want to undo, so you just click out and then click Control Z. So you can just, okay, we are here, we were using functions. You can drag up, just drag up like this. It will be able to do what you want. That saves time as well. Yeah, so is there any question here before we move on to the forms? Because every time we want to go to forms, there's something new we want to do. Yeah. So is there any question?
From my side, I'm good. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So,
Hello?
anyone else? Yes?
Yeah, I wanna take you back and can you please show me how to make drop down lists? I was not there at that point.
Okay, the drop down list. Okay. So we said that, for example, you want to drop down list in gender like these ones. So let's create for department, though we already have here for the department. So maybe we introduce something else that we can use to learn that, or maybe you can just repeat here for the department. So you select where you want to apply. You remember this cell is, this one is not applied, this one is not applied, this one is applied. Okay, let's apply here. So you go where you want to apply, go to the data tab, and then go to the data tools, data validation. The drop down here, you click on the data validation. And then from here, from allow any value here, you click on list. And then the source. So when your source is too long, for example, in my case, my departments, I have them here as a list. My list is too long. I cannot type all this. So I just use the picker, this picker upload button. So I just click on the picker upload button and then select the departments. Sorry, you have to exclude the name department. So just you come here, you can just remove it from here to 8, from 7 to 8. Yeah. Then you click the picker back. This is the download. You click it, so you see the source has changed. I have now the source, it has referenced to this from programs, finance, communication, technology. So you can give the input message, the ones you see, the hover that we have when we hover around gender, you can add them under input message. And then the error is when you put a wrong entry. Which error do you want to be shown? And then you click OK. So you see here we have now drop downs, and we can select from these drop downs as we go. So you can apply to the rest of the cells. Let me just delete this before I drag down to apply to the rest of the cells. When it is still empty, maybe up to there, and now I'm good to go. I've already applied to the rest of the cells. So when I come here, it is there. So I can save time doing repetitive work, and that's what we embrace. So you can select and do other things. Are we together now?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So we go
can
to.
Can I ask a quick question, please?
Yes.
Like, for example, on the date, if I'm entering data today and then there is data for tomorrow, and then another day. If I want my date, that cell to indicate the date that when I entered the data, please.
When you entered the data.
Yes,
So that
like
one
now,
is
if I am on a cell and then I enter the date, I want that date to indicate for today, because
okay.
normally when you drag down the date, it will change either the year,
Yes.
the month, or the date. Yes.
Yeah, so that approach we can achieve it using the VBA, but the scope of the course is does not allow us to go to that extent. The VBA is the side we went when we were automating our sheet. View code, this side is where we go to do that. But now we don't want to go to that because it's not within the scope of this. Please, you'll forgive me about that, but we can be able to maybe chat about that later, because it's not about the scope.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Any other question before we proceed? Okay, if there is no question, we are going to use forms to do what we have just done here. So using forms in Microsoft Excel, for my case, I already enabled forms. You can see here when I hover, I see forms. When I hover, I see forms here in Microsoft Excel. So when I click on it, can't be applied in the selected range. This is the range. Yeah, so just click like that. So you see, yeah, so this is what we call a form in Microsoft Excel. So how do we enable this in Microsoft Excel? So we say that there is advantage and the disadvantage of using forms. So while using forms, you cannot be able to create drop-downs. You cannot be able to create drop-downs using forms. Okay, so let's go step by step up to that point. So we close, we go to a new sheet. So for me to go a new sheet, I just want to copy the top. It's good to write, these ones you write them manually, the first column. It's good to write the first cell, the first row manually like that. So you see this sheet, I have not automated the columns to change. I have not automated the columns to change, to resize based on the values. So what if I want that to happen? We said you right click and you go to your view code, and now you start typing your code that we said that is in the chat section. So this is what you'll be able to see. And hope everyone, those who joined us, we have this approach. Is there any question here? Okay, no question. So we have this approach in the chat section. Let me paste it. Those who have just joined, this is the function we are using to automate our columns. So I've shared it again in the chat section. So I'm showing you how we did that, because you see here everything is adjusting based on the values that are contained in the cell, in the worksheet. So you right click here, then you go to your view code, and just under general, change this general to worksheet. Then here, you see, you paste here that code that we sent in the chat section. And now you close here and you close here as well. So everything will be able to adjust, you see, automatically based on the size of the values we have. So how do we enable forms in Microsoft Excel? To enable forms in Microsoft Excel is a step-by-step approach. You go to File. You go to File. I'll go step by step. You go to File. You go to Options. File, Options. Under Options, we have General. We have General. So maybe we want to see it on the Quick Access bar. We want to see it just here, the Quick Access bar. So just click on Quick Access bar. When you click on Quick Access bar, for me, I already have it here. For me, I already have it here. So for you, you will have popular commands, but you will change this from popular commands to all commands. You change. We said you start by going to the File, Options. Kule kwa General, you go to Quick Access Toolbar. Then you go to all commands. So you change from popular commands, because this is what you'll see for the first time. Popular commands, and then you change to all commands. And under this, there's a lot in Microsoft Excel. So you just look for forms in this. They are arranged in alphabetic order. So you just go to where there is F. and where you can see forms. So for me, I already have it on the other side, but you can be able still to find it here. For me, I have it here now. So you can click on it and then you add. You click on add and then it will be able to reflect here. Once it is here, you just click on OK and click on OK and you are done. You have enabled forms in Microsoft Excel. Are we together? Are we together? Let me just confirm that. Are we together?
Can you please repeat setting the form?
Yes, Zumba.
Can you please repeat on setting the
Okay.
form?
Okay. So let me just close again and start afresh. We said that when you want to insert, like here, I have forms in Microsoft Excel. So how do you enable that? You go to File, you go to Options, and then from here, you go to Quick Access Toolbar. And then you change from Popular Commands to All Commands. And then from here, you'll see a lot of things. So just look, they are arranged in alphabetic order. Look for forms. Look for forms. Look for forms. It's alphabetic order. So form is above here. Form. Okay. Yeah. So here it is. You click on it. Then you click on add. For me already, I have it here, so I will not add it. So you click on add, and then you click OK here. Remember to click OK here, and you click OK, and I think you'll be able to reach. You'll be able to see it here, like mine. So when I want to insert values using forms in Microsoft Excel, I just click on this form. It will give me this warning, but it's just okay. No problem in that. Just click OK, and you'll be able to see your form. So this is what we call a form in Microsoft Excel. So you see the first row is arranged here, ready to take inputs. That's why we say it is good for you to have your first row containing the columns that specify each data entry. And then from there, now you can be able to provide your employee ID. So to move to the next text box, you hit on the tab. You hit tab on your laptop, tab, or shift tab to go back, shift tab to go back, shift tab to go back, or tab to go down, shift tab to go back, or tab to go down. Alternatively, let me just go back. Alternatively, you can still also do like this. You can also still just take your cursor there and click there where you want to type. Yeah, you can do that. Sometimes we have shortcuts and they may take time. Okay. So let's make the first entry. So the first name, maybe let's say you have Henry here, Henry, tab, and the last name maybe is, let me say is Ochien, and tab, and then the full name. So the full name we should be able to read from the first name. So you can leave it blank. You can write the function later. There's no need for you to have the two at the same time. Full name is usually computed from the first name and the last name. So you can just leave it blank. It will not harm you in any way. So you can just give the function and later, and you can be able to read from that. So gender, we said the disadvantage of using form is that you cannot use the drop downs. That's why we learned about these drop downs. So you can just have gender. So this will mean you'll have an extra time for you to do the cleaning of the data. So you cannot use the data validation right directly from the forms. So you can just provide the salary and the email addresses, or you can leave blank and use the functions the way we did to do that. You can just leave it blank. You can compute it later using the functions that we said. The department, you can say maybe this person is from communication. And the dates, you can provide the date when maybe you enrolled this person to your organization. Maybe it is 5th, maybe it's 17th, 2024. And when you want to submit, you hit enter to submit. Hit enter to submit. Like that. I have submitted my first entry. So my first entry is not complete because I miss full name, I miss email address. For example, when I want to just complete everything without again using functions, I can still use the form by fetching back the data I entered. How do you fetch data back? You use find previous. So find previous will be able to bring that data back that is in the database that is just behind us. So you click on find, and then it will find the data back. And then now you can type here the full name, which is Henry, if you don't want to use functions, Henry Ochie. And now you can provide the email. Maybe it's made from the first name, which is Henry at example.com. Yeah, and again, you can submit back, and now everything will be updated. Again, you can submit back. Everything is updated. Let me get some questions from members up to where we have reached. Any question? Yes, Joshua? Yes, Joshua? Is there any question? Anyone with any question? That means we are all together. Yes, yes.
Question.
Yes, yes.
First of all, I would like to appreciate for this wonderful course. So my question was, how can we be able to access the recorded session maybe after the depletion of the ongoing session afterwards?
Okay. We will share the material. We will upload our material on YouTube, and you can be able to access it. This recording. We will be able to share the link via the emails. Are we together?
Thank you. We are together.
Okay, thank you. So that's how we use forms. If there's no any other question, we want to see how we create tables in Excel, how we format tables in Excel. So the second thing is about formatting, using tables in Microsoft Excel when you have existing data. So for example, let's make another manual entry here so that let's just remind ourselves what we learned about functions. So we said when I want full name here, I say equal to concat full name. I'll be fetching from first name, comma, separated with space, and then the last name. I close, I hit enter. I apply to the rest of the cells down up to where I want. Maybe I just want to make just few entries to use it as forms in tables in Excel. So gender, we said you use the drop downs. So you come to data, you come to data validation, you come to data validation here, you click data validation, go to settings. Under settings, you go to list. List, you can say male, female. You separate with comma. Remember to separate with the delimiter. Comma is a delimiter that we use in data validation. So this is female. And then you click on OK. You can give an input message, or you can fail to give an input message. Yeah, everything will just still be okay. Input message is this. When you move around gender, you can see this. This is what we call input message. For those who have just joined us while creating drop downs, that's what you do. And once you're done with that, you can also restrict salary and stuff like that. So I want to drag this down to maybe that cells. Yeah. So that when I come here, I also get that option for selecting the gender. And email address should fetch the first name and the domain of my organization. So I'll just say equal to concatenate. Concat, we said, is used to join strings. So it will be joining my first name and the name of the domain of the organization, which is example.com at example. So you must also add the at, and you close, and you close, and you hit enter. Sorry, so because this is blank, it will be able to be blank here. It will not have the name, but anytime you type the name here, it will capture. So how do we apply that to other cells? You just drag out that. The communication department, you can also create the drop downs in it. But let me just add here my first name. Okay, we said, how do you fill down the series? Select where you want from the start to the end. Still, you can still go to home, go to the drop, the fill, under fill, go to select the series, go to the series. Under series, we are going fast because we covered this already. So we go to step value is 1. That means that it will be moving by step 1 by 1. And then I want it to stop at 1 or 3. And then I click OK. I have it there. I provide my first name, maybe Juliet. So let me just be consistent, though we had learned about proper function. So Juliet, which helps us to Juliet, something like that. And now you see my email has already been created based on the first name that I provided. And sometimes you can change if you want the email also to be in all lower cases. You can use another function in Excel to put everything in lowercase or uppercase or proper, the way we learned proper. So you have here Juliet also under full name because it's also using functions to read that. So you save time on repetitive tasks. So here under Juliet, maybe Juliet is Shelagat, and now can be able to fetch there to provide us with the full name, and the gender we select from the drop down. You see, we save time this, and you can now give the salary. Salary, you said also you can restrict the values to be captured during the entries. So I want to make, yes.
I was just asking, just where you have put at example.com, the way you have put
yes.
it. Just asking.
Okay.
Can you just repeat it?
Okay. Let me copy this. It is fetching from this concat is fetching the first column B4. Is fetching the column B, fetching from column B, the first name. For example, we want to create emails of our employees based on the first name. So it fetches from the column B. And then separate with, specify the cell, specific cell, comma, then put into the double quotes. Because concatenate is used to combine strings. Put in the double quotes at example.com. Then close your function. Let me paste it. What is the essence of the form? A form, you can use it to make data entry, an alternative way of making data entry. Oh, sorry, this is not the function. That is an example. Let me just recopy that. A form, you can use it to make data entry also fast. So we are just trying to see ways on how you can automate your tasks. So that is the code, the function in Excel that we have used to learn that. In case there is a question, please, you can just unmute and talk, because sometimes I may not be able to see the hand that is, yeah. Sorry.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why is it that when you manually input the email, it has a link, but when you use the format, it does not have a link?
Yes, so that is because this is a function. So to disable that, you can disable a function. When you copy this and paste it somewhere else, it will be able to, every time it will want to reference to the cell B3. Suppose you paste it in another workbook, it will return an error. So for you to avoid returning an error and return the link, you paste the value special. For example, I want to paste here for us to see if it will return the link or not. So you right click and paste special. You paste the values only. So you paste the values only, it is coming without. So the link, this one will just enable you to go to the email, because art is detected as an email. That's the difference, because this is a function and this is not a function. So a function, when you want to disable function in Excel, you do this. You paste value special, the way you have pasted here, and there's no function attached to it. So when we copy this and paste in a different workbook, everything will be okay in a different workbook, not the same workbook. Because when you paste this one in a different workbook, you'll get an error. But you can paste it in a different workbook via pasting it as a value only. Or sometimes we call it pasting special. You paste it using a special way. But the link is here because this one, when you click on it, you can be able to go direct to the emails. So it will lead you to the mail list to compose an email to this person. So the difference is that this is a function and this is not a function. This is typed. So the department, you can also do the same as we did for gender, and you can provide the date, but we don't have time for all that. So we just want to insert our first table, how to format this data as a table. So you click anywhere in your data, then you go to home. Anywhere in your data, you go to home, you go to format as table. You will see different formats of tables that we have in Excel. Home, you click anywhere in your data, go to home, format as a table, and then you will see a lot of tables here. So whichever table that you feel that is good for you, you feel you want to use, you can just select on it and you click OK. So ensure my data has headers is checked so that this first row can be detected as the header. Then you click OK, and there you go, you have your table in Microsoft Excel. So this table also adjusts itself in terms of column size and also in terms of the new entries that we make. So that's how we create forms in a table, and you can filter data from here. So you can filter the data you want to see by clicking on the data you don't want to see. Maybe you don't want to see blank. So you just select the other data and you click OK here. So the blank will be removed. This is a filter button. So these ones are filter buttons. So you can click on it and even sort your data in ascending order, descending order, and other aspects. So this is how we format data as a table in Microsoft Excel. Any other question about creating table in Excel for the existing data? You just click where you want and you do that. You format your data as a table. Okay, so I want us to, that's what data entry was about. I want us to have this data set. So let me just share this data set via the chat section. When you click on this link, it will be able to download this data set to your machine. When you just click on it, it will be able to download the data set. That is the data set. So you can click on it when you want that data. You can access the data. You can have it. So the data, I'll be able to just go to it. So here is the data. So this data contains the country, the product, the units sold, the revenue, the cost, the profit, the dates, and stuff like that. So some of the things can be computed from other columns. For example, when you have the total revenue and you have the cost, you can be able to compute the profit using the functions in Excel, or sometimes just using the formula in Excel to compute that. So this data has been formatted as a range. It was a table, but has been formatted as a range. The difference is that the table must have the buttons here, the drop-down buttons here. That's a table, but this one is a range. It's not a table. So how do we format this back to a table? So we say you select anywhere in your data, go to home, and then go to format data as a table. So you select kind of a table that you want, maybe that one, and you click OK. So you'll have the data back as a dropdown. So have that data. That data is the one that we are going to use in the coming classes when it comes to charts, visualization, and building dashboards in Microsoft Excel. So just have that data with you. And how do you carry out filtering and sorting? So I want us to use this time to learn something. Unless there is a question, maybe I get a question from one of the members before we proceed. So this is how we format data as a table. And you can filter out countries that you want. You can unselect all data and select the country that you want. But sometimes working with this data directly like this, it is tiresome. we usually want to interact with the visuals. That's why we will be learning data visualization in this also in this course, so that we can visualize this data. So this data is about a certain restaurant, restaurant X, that is countrywide, that is in different countries, and it offers different products. And the unit salt, we have the unit salt for each product in each country. And how can we be able to easily visualize? You see, you cannot make sense out of this data when it is in this form. It is easier for you to know which country is doing better than the other in terms of revenue, in terms of profit, in terms of which product has a higher cost, and the trend line in terms of sales in days, per day, per month, and even per year if you have data that allows that. To also know how many units sold have been made within a particular time period, we'll also be learning that in Excel. So the first session has been about the introductory part of Microsoft Excel. So I just want us to ensure that we have understood these parts, so that when we move forward from next week, we can be able to catch up. So let me just check if there is any question in the chat section. Did you send us this data? Yeah, I sent this data. This data is in the link. Just click on it and you get the data. The data is there. I have the link here, so let me pin it. The link is there. When you click on the link, it will be able to download the data to your machine, so that you can use it. Why do we include proper in the concatenate function? Good. Let's go there. So let's do proper function alone without concatenation. So this is data manipulation. We are now into data manipulation. We have learned a lot of things at the same time. So why do we use proper in concatenate function? We use proper in this case because remember Jack here is in small letters, but we need consistency in our data. We need our data to be formatted in a proper way. Proper way is where you capitalize the first letter of your data, of your string. And let me just do that. Why we use proper? Let me just use proper alone somewhere else. So maybe I have here Jack and I want this to be capital. So I say equal to proper. So in Microsoft Excel, you can join functions to perform multiple tasks at the same time. You can join functions to do that. So you see now Jack is in capital letter. So what I did is Microsoft Excel usually starts computing from the inner function. This is the inner function. Proper B3 is an inner function in Microsoft Excel. So it's in inner function for concatenate function. Concatenate function is combining, is joining everything. So it is telling Microsoft Excel that after you have converted Jack from small j to capital J, then now combine it with the last name. Jack is the first name. Last name is Kamau, which is okay. If Kamau was also small letter, we could have also used another proper function here before Kamau and also be able still to obtain the same results. So that is a function in Microsoft Excel. We use it to do that. I don't know if we have understood about that. How do you format it to small letters in the email address? Okay, let's do that. Can you share the first code you used? First code, the VBA. Why do we include proper? We have answered that. The first code for VBA, we had pinned it somewhere. Yeah, it's here, so you can paste it back. We can paste it back. So check the code. You can check the code. That code, if is the one you asked. So let's see. How do you format it to small letters in the email address? Okay, let's go to answer that. So small letters in the email address. Sorry, I'm just adding things that are not there. So I hit enter. Yeah, so email address, small letters in the email address. So suppose we have data that contains capital letters in an email address. How do you format it back to a normal way? So for example, we have Jack here. So maybe we have Jack, sorry, let me just create here Jack at example, Jack at example.com. Jack at example.com. I open, sorry, it's already Jack at example.com. So that is it. And now we want to change it to small letters. So you say lower, equal to lower. Then you select the cell that you want to lower and you hit enter. So we have Jack in lowercase. We have Jack in lowercase. You can keep the questions coming in the chat section. Or you can even unmute. Or if you have a comment, you can also unmute. If you have a different case study that you have ever experienced a challenge in Microsoft Excel, you can also tell us so that we can also be able to see how we can address it in our upcoming classes.
Hello.
Yes.
I was asking.
Yes.
I see that when we write concat.
Yes.
Concat B2.
Yes.
At gmail.com.
Yes.
The name from B2 comes to the email address as small letters.
Yes, yes.
How does it change from the way it was, like the first name as in proper format, but when it comes here, it comes in a lower format.
Okay, let's go to that. I just have here. Okay, thank you for that. I have here a feedback form link that I want to share in the chat section, so that we can fill in. And so we proceed. So I want to share my screen again so that we see that. So there's a feedback form in the chat section. You can also just respond to it so that we understand how we can also improve our trainings in the coming days. Okay, so let me share the entire screen again. And so this is Jack. When you type here, let me type here capital letters, Jack. For example, we're using this as an example, and is fetching there, and I want it to fetch here using the functions that I have here. It will just be able to pick Jack the way Jack it is, the way Jack is. Oh, this is taken from the above. Let me move the numbers here. Like that. So you see the way this letter is, the first name letter, the first name is the same way email will capture it. And that's why our colleague was asking how to change that scenario to small letters. That is where now we used the lower function in Microsoft Excel to do that. So by default, it will take it the way the name is the same way the name will be captured. Not unless you are referencing to a cell that has already been used to reference to as to a lowercase. For example, when this is converted back to lowercase, maybe this is converted back to lowercase, it will capture it as a lowercase. If it is in proper way, it will be in proper. If it will be in uppercase, full name uppercase, email will also be uppercase. So you can use the lower. For example, when Jack is like this, and this one not only applies to the preparing emails as well, but you may need consistency in your data because we are learning a lot of things at the same time. So you can apply to your case study. You do not have to just know that you can prepare emails using Concatenate. No, you can prepare full name using Concatenate and different scenarios that you can face in your environment setup. So I just want to add another concept here before we finalize. Hope we are together up to that point. So you can change this to small letters by using the lowercase, the lower function, this one, the lower function in Excel to do that. So I want us to learn an extra thing here, which we call, how can we separate full name to first name and last name? Imagine you have 10,000 names and you want to separate them from first name to last name. From full name to last name and first name. So maybe I just take some data. I add some data, or we can just use the data we have here, the two data, and we go to a new sheet. Just go to a new sheet and paste that data here. Oh, sorry, I want now, this is what we said, it will return error unless you paste it special. So let me undo and paste special. You right click, under paste special, you click paste values only. So it has pasted the values only. And here is full name. Here is full name. So, and you see my columns are not being resized based on the values they contain, because the settings we did in the VBA was for this sheet only and this sheet only. So you can still also have to do for this sheet as well. So when we want to split this, we come here, we write here first name, and then right here last name, if we want to retain the full name. After writing that, I usually like the automation for the columns so that we can see things in a better view. So you can just you can reuse the code, you can copy the code just from here, you save your time rather than typing it every time. You come to the next one, data entry, Microsoft Excel, view code, and now you paste it. You change from general to worksheet. Then you paste here the VBA, and then you close, and then you close. And now my columns will start resizing based on the values that I have. Okay, so we want to split this. So we use something we call text to column in Microsoft Excel, text to column. Please remember to give feedback. Feedback form is in the chat section. So I will just give some minutes for us to do that once we are done with the training here. So text to column, so you come to your data, come to the data tab. So data tab, you see a lot of things here. There is consolidation, there is text to column. So just go to text to column. Let me just first of all ensure that my reference is in this data that I want. You highlight the data that you want to split. Please start by highlighting the data you want to split. You highlight the full name, the names themselves, and don't include the column names. So maybe you can format this data as a table so that we can easily see that. So you can format data as a table. We said you go to home, you can format this data like as a table, then you provide the kind of data that you have. My data contain headers, you check this and you click OK. And there we go. And now once we have that, now we want to split this data. So you highlight the two entries. Then you go to the data tab, you go to text to column, this one, text to column, text to column. You click text to column, you will see this dialog box. So this dialog box, we must understand the delimiter. The delimiter data is space. Our delimited data is space. We are using space as delimited data. So let's go to next. This is the preview of how the data is, the selected data is. Then you click next. And the limiter for our case is space. So just check the space. Just remove this one. Just check the space under the limiters. You check space. And you can preview how your data is going to be separated. You can preview how your data is being separated. And then you go to next. Next, you specify where you want your data to be posted. For me, my data, from destination for my data, I want it to be B2 from B2 and not A2 by default. By default, it will overwrite the full name. So I start from B2 so that my first name can be Emmanuel and last name Madanga can be in the last name. So once I select that, I just finish. When I finish, and there I go, I have splitted my full name into first name and last name. Any question there? Any question there? Maybe I stop presenting. I see multiple screens here. Any question there on what we have learned? Any question? Yes.
From my side, I'm good.
Okay. Please now let's use this remaining time to click on the feedback form. We will use the feedback form to know if you attended, so that now we can be able to send you the recording for our session. So I repeat kindly, so let me repeat that. Yes, Mohammed.
Yeah, I want to ask, is this session is continuous every day or is every week, only one
It's
day?
every week.
So how is it
Every
spread
week
out throughout?
on Friday for 5 days. So today is day 1.
So
Today is day 1.
as a,
Next class.
yeah,
Yes.
as I read from where I have followed this, and is there any certification at the end of the training?
Yeah, we said that at the end of the training, the certification will be there, but now you have to pay for the certification, which was 1,500.
And it's on advanced Excel.
Yeah, it's advanced Excel, Microsoft Excel, but we usually train other softwares. If you're interested, you can enroll other softwares we usually train. SPSS, Python, R, Stata, we also train them. We have ongoing cohorts right now, yeah. In other days, we have Python, which will be starting on Monday next week, and we have R also on Tuesday, and others. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. So I will repeat the concept that we have learned. Sorry, there's someone raising the hand. You can ask, please. Just unmute.
Those ones also we just register, and or there's something for registration.
Oh, the other ones are not like Excel. Excel, we train it for free, but when you need certification now, we can provide you with the certification. But for the other ones, you have to pay before you start the training.
How much?
So we pay 3,500 to learn R and Python, but SPSS and Stata is 2,000 for 4 weeks. For 4 weeks, that is Python and R, and SPSS and Stata is 2 weeks.
Okay.
So click on the link. Let's get the feedback so that we can share the recording with the rest of us. And let me please repeat the concept that we have just done. So we said that for you to do this, you start by providing the column names: full name, first name, last name. Yeah, once you are done with that, now you provide the full name that you have. I cannot remember your full name. Maybe I call Ram Onyango. You are the one who requested for us to repeat. Yeah, I just want to use one so that we can save on time. So once you have this, just select the data that you have. If you have multiple cells, you select like this, and then you go to format your data. But in this case, we are here. Ram Onyango, you click on Ram Onyango, we select it, then you go to your data tab, and then you go to text to columns. Yes?
You have not shared the screen.
Oh, sorry. sorry about that. So let me reshare my screen. Sorry. Yeah. Entire screen. Okay. Yeah, so we are repeating this. So we said we are creating a new place where we want to experiment what we have learned. So full name, you start with the full name, you provide first name, you provide last name, and then you provide the first name here now. We are the first full name here. And now we want to split Ram, Onyango to Ram here and Onyango here. So we are learning splitting text. So we use the text to column operation under data. You select your data first, go to data tag, go to text to column. And then here, delimiter, that is, this is our data that is containing delimiter for our case is space. You can preview how your data is looking like. And then you go to next. Here you specify the delimiter that separates your data. If your data is being separated with the comma, you select comma. If your data is being separated with multiple delimiters, more than comma and spaces, you can select these ones. Or you can specify another delimiter that you have. Maybe if it is stroke or anything else. And then now once you are done with that, you will preview your data here, how it looks like. And now you go to next to specify the destination of your data. So the destination for my data is here. The destination of my data is here. So this is my destination of my data. Once I have selected the destination of my data, I can now finish. Once I finish, I will now have splitted my data in the ways that I want. How is that? Is everything all right?
Yep.
Okay. So please, let's use this remaining time to be able to fill the feedback so that we can receive our recording in case you missed any concept in today's training. Next meeting will be on Friday next week, God willing. The email, you will still receive email link about the invitation because it's weekly. So you can just use the same link to join for the same sessions. Otherwise, I take this time on behalf of Beyond Data Science Solutions to say thank you. For those who were not here in the beginning, we said that Beyond Data Science Solutions offers trainings in data science and analysis. It also does field research, monitoring and evaluation, business intelligence, and finally, AI and machine learning solutions. Oh, sorry, the lesson task for the practice, yes. So those who want a task to practice, that is very nice because I'm a good teacher. I usually give assignments. So I want us to prepare a data set. Thank you for reminding me that because I usually like giving assignments so that we can start from there to check our knowledge, understanding. So the assignment that we have today is that prepare student data of at least 5 students. As you'll be receiving the recording, you'll also be able to receive the assignment. But now this is what I'm saying as an assignment is that let me just write what you have to do in the chat section for the assignment. So prepare 5 entries for student data. So this assignment will need to be submitted before next week. So we will also be sharing a link where you will submit the assignment. You will be able to upload the Excel. You will just upload the Excel to that link, the form that we'll share. So prepare 5 entry for student data and you practice everything that we have learned. Practice everything that we have learned. From prepare the data in 2 ways. Use the forms, try to use the forms, try to use the normal entries. But now at the end, we want you to prepare 5 entry for the student data. The data should contain the student ID, the student age, the gender of the student, the email of the student, the grade, the grade, yes, the grade of the student. The grade should range is just A, B, C, D, and E. Those are the grades. Yeah. I want you to create that data about the students. So age is the numeric, gender is categorical, and yeah, so that's what we want us to do as an assignment. We will be sharing the link where you can upload that your work, so that we can evaluate as well and check our understanding. Yeah, any question on the assignment or any other question? So that is the assignment. Any other question? Sir, I'm a beginner. Can I join this class? Yes, because we are all from scratch. This class is for everyone. So that's why we started by data entry. And by the end of the 5 days, the five weeks training, you will be able to do data visualization. You'll also be able to do some simple data analysis, the ones we mentioned, building dashboards, and doing some regression and hypothesis testing. And I think there is also another question from colleagues. Please remember to fill the form. Can we have a WhatsApp group? You can have a WhatsApp group. We have our WhatsApp groups for Beyond the Data Solutions community. So we will find a way on how you can be able to join the WhatsApp group. So where can I contact with you? You can contact me. You can find me on LinkedIn. Can find me on LinkedIn. Could have shared the LinkedIn profile, but when you search this, you'll be able to get a data scientist, data analyst. Yeah. But you can find me there. But if you want my contact, maybe I stop recording so that I can share the contact here. Because this post will be uploaded on, so I stop recording.